What's up, y'all? JF here back in the video. Today we will be reviewing The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Got this book on winter break. I got at the bins actually. Took them my homie, and I was like, "Fuck, let me give it a read, man." I never heard about this book, but it seems like it got a lot of knowledge in it, and it actually does have a lot of knowledge in it. It actually changed my blueprint of how I live my life. So this is actually a real life changing book, and like gives you, like, if you're young, it gives you a good set of guidelines how to live your life. And even if you're older, you could probably adapt and change some ways you live by reading this book. You know. So let me go over my script real quick. Pull up my script. All right. At the core of the Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, Covey presents a holistic approach to personal effectiveness, breaking down the principles of success into seven key habits that are all about mindset, productivity, and building meaningful relationships. Here's a quick rundown of the seven habits. The book is called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and he gives you seven habits to live by. Um, I'm gonna go over my script, and then later on in the video, I'm gonna go over my personal book review that I wrote in my journal when I first finished, around the time I finished the book. But the first habit is be proactive. The first habit is all about taking control of your life. Covey emphasizes that proactive people focus on what they can control rather than worrying about what they can't. It's a mindset. It's a mindset shift. It's a mindset shift, taking responsibility for taking act for your actions instead of blaming circumstances for others. So yeah, man, like it's kind of like stoicism, like stoics, like how I first got this mindset from stoicism. I kind of already had this mindset before reading the book about only worrying about what I can control. But like he just emphasized it heavily on, like, just focus on the factors that you can control, and don't worry about other things that you can't control, because that unnecessary stress causes you to uh start overthinking. And I talked about this in the previous video, that self-analyzation is a flaw in itself, like over self-analyzation, because that makes you fearful, and that makes you hesitant, and it makes you live a life that you truly don't want to live. The second habit is begin with the end in mind. This is about having a clear vision of your life goals. Covey encourages us to create a personal mission statement and design our lives around it. He asks, what kind of person do you want to become? What legacy do you want to leave? Yeah, begin with the end in mind, man. This is actually great. Some of my previous videos are actually taken from ideas that this book has given me. So if you watch like my book about interdependency and things like that, you watch my video about interdependency and things like that, it's all ideas that came from this book. So yeah, begin with the end in mind, man. You gotta have, like, as I say, you gotta have a clear vision of your life goals, and live your life on those goals, on achieving those goals. Like, I always hone on having goals, writing down your goals, and not telling others your goals and things like that. But when you begin with the end in mind and knowing what you want to become at the end of your life, what legacy you want to leave on this earth, how you want to affect, what legacy you want to leave on your kids, your peers, and your just your family in general, it gives you a good base, a good foundation to how to send what principles to center your life around. Third habit is put first things first. Now that you have your mission, you know what I'm saying, you start beginning with the end in mind. This habit, putting your first things first, is about time management and focus on what truly matters. It's about making choices based on importance, not urgency. Covey uses a productivity matrix to show how to distinguish between tasks that are important and those that are distractions. You know what I'm saying? Now that you have your mission, you gotta prioritize the things that are gonna help you attain that mission. You know what I'm saying? And he basically goes over, like, this is a part that you really gotta read the book and see how he lays out the blueprint for how to time management, how to really put the first things first. But yeah, just like a lot of people like to base what they have to do, like, on things that need to be like things that need to be done soon. Like, it's kind of like the mindset that school gives you. Because when you look at your school, you look at your Google Classroom or your Canvas or whatever you use, your Blackboard, and you just look at you just do the assignments that are just due soonest, the most, more sooner. Yeah, yeah. But this idea, but then you carry, you go through school, you're 18, 21 years of school, whatever, how many years you're in school, and then you just take this mindset into the real world of doing things that are just that are just coming up urgency, like getting your rent done. Oh, I gotta get rent. Oh, I gotta get bills. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. All these things that have due dates. But instead, you gotta really take time to focus on things that are gonna help you achieve your goals, and then taking the time to do those other things that are having urgent due dates. Habit number 4 is think win-win. This habit is all about creating mutual beneficial relationships. Covey teaches that effective people don't operate in a win-lose mindset. They seek solutions where everyone benefits. This isn't just for business. It applies to friendship and family and everything in between. So yeah, this is also another thing that was introduced to me. That was like new, something new, a new ideology that was introduced to me in the book about just like create, like not just creating like mutual beneficial relationships because everyone wants to create that, but just doing taking time to not be selfish. I feel like before reading this book, I was a very selfish person. I still have problems with selfishness at times, and I just have to remember that I gotta think when I gotta try to create opportunities that benefit me and others because in all that's how you gain the best relationships with friends, gain the best relationships with family because they're gonna be there for you when you need them. You're gonna be there for them when they need you, and you're also benefited from being there with them. If you know what I'm saying. And I was thinking about it more in a business mindset, how like you help this company out with this task, even though it's not the ideal thing that you wanted, you still benefit from it, but just not as much from the first idea that you wanted. But you can't have a win lose mindset. You can't win and they lose. You gotta have a win win. So later on in the future, when you have future connections with them, they can put you on. And when you have want to do a later deal in the future, they'd be like, oh yeah, he did this for us back in the day. So we're gonna do this for him. You feel me? So that's how I saw it. First as a business I did, and I later applied it to friendship and family. And then habit 5 is seek first to be understood. Now this one is a crucial. This one is very crucial. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is a problem that a lot of people have. Like when you respond to people, like you just let me read the script. Covey says we often listen to with the intent to reply rather than to truly understand the other person. When you actively listen, it fosters trust and respect, which is essential for building strong relationships. I apply this as a business. It's like a business mindset. Like when you're listening to people talk in the company, like when you show that you're truly actively listening and truly understanding what the other person is saying, like repeating what they're saying, repeating it again, so you have like your own, like so they know that you're truly trying to understand what they're saying to you. It just creates more trust and more respect for you because it shows that you truly care about this person's ideology and how they're feeling and things like that. So when you put this out in the world, it is gonna come back to you. So when you put that out to them, they're gonna wanna listen with intent. They're gonna want to listen truly to what you're saying, and then you can use this in your favor by like doing future businesses. That's how I saw it. But like this also how you want to treat everyone when you first make them, especially if you want to make long lasting bonds with this person. You gotta listen to truly understand. Yeah, you gotta listen first to understand, then to be understood. And when they say about understood is like a lot of people listen to just reply and give some feedback. Be like, let's say someone's having a bad day, and you're like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Nah, you gotta really listen to why they're having a bad day. Internalize it. Be like, okay, I understand that. Blah 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 blah. Talk about how you feel about it, so they can know that you understand, and then give them solutions, and this seeks to be understood. Habit 6 is synergize. Synergy is the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Covey emphasizes teamwork and collaboration. Effective people know how to leverage diverse perspectives and strengths to create something better than they could alone. This also ties into that idea of interdependency. Go check out my video. It'll be over here. Go check out my video about that. Um, yeah, just like this was also another new thing to me, just being more interdependent, emphasizing teamwork and collaboration. Just it kind of explains itself. You just got to be able to work with other people and understand that yes, you can get far by yourself, But if you work with like-minded people who are also focus driven and principle driven, you can get further with them instead of being by yourself. All right, and the habit number 7 is sharpen the saw. The final habit is all about self-care and continuous improvement. Covey suggests regularly renewing yourself in the key in the four key areas: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritually. It's all about maintaining balance, staying sharp to keep growing. And what this means is that you cannot be when you're throughout your life. You must always be one to learn. You must always want to be improving yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And I always talk about this, but I also tie emotionally. I put when I say, because y'all know I always say I want to improve spiritually, mentally, physically every day. I put spiritually and emotionally together. But he's just basically saying like throughout your life you want to be just improving yourself continuously, and don't feel like you're there's nothing else to learn. There's always something to learn. There's always something to improve on in any aspect of your life. Like you gotta treat life like it's solo leveling. Like if you watch solo leveling, like yeah, bro is strong as fuck. He's probably the strongest hunter out there already, but he's still continuously trying to improve because because that's the game, bro. The game is improvement and being the best version of yourself. Now I'm gonna read my personal book review for my journal, and I'm gonna go into some key highlights, and then we're gonna end the video. So this is my personal book review after I read the book. This book taught me a lot I didn't expect to learn about and confirmed some beliefs I already had. I learned a new term called interdependent, and this term changed my perspective on a lot of things. Interdependence is basically when two independent people know they can go far on their own, but choose to work together because they know they can get further with each other. This made me change my perspective, and I now want to become an interdependent person. But interdependence is a choice only independent people can make. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be a person who's dependent on other people. Like you always do something because this person doing it, or like you like to blame your problems on other people instead of internalizing it, and taking blame for your problems. That's a dependent person. Like that's a dependent mindset, and you can't be interdependent if you're not independent. So first you gotta get out that mindset. You gotta look at yourself and put blame on yourself. See how you can control your like kind of like a stoic mindset. See how you can control the factors in your life, and then once you figure out how to do that, then you start working with other independent people to get further with your goals. Uh, I'm gonna go over the 7 habits again. Be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Put first things first. Think win-win. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Synergize and sharpen the saw. Another thing I learned from the book that really resonated with me is habit number 5. Habit number 5 is seek first to understand and be understood, because it's something I really need to work on to become better with intimate relationships I want to take seriously. Yeah, I kind of, when I first heard that in the book, I correlated to like intimate relationships I had with women and how I treated them and how I need to seek first to understand like how they're feeling and why they're feeling that. Because I always like when they tell me their problems, I'm like, bro, just toughen up. Like I always kind of like do think about how I would treat that problem, but I need to put myself in the woman's shoes and put myself in so I can see their perspective. That's a problem I always have. That's what I'm working on. Another one that resonated with me was Habit 7, which is sharpen the saw, because this changed my perspective on chasing money. This is also a highlight from the book. If you focus on money, it will bring about its own undoing. So you must focus on self-improvement and sharpening the saw, and making money will come easy. Sharpening the saw basically means improving mentally, physically, and spiritually, and socially and emotionally on a consistent basis. This is something I already prided myself on, but now I have even more emphasis on it. This book is a great read, and I will most likely read it again and go over the notes again to keep myself locked in into these 7 habits to stay highly effective. Because this book is really the blueprint. And you always gotta refresh yourself on the blueprint. Like this is not a one-time read book. You always gotta refresh yourself and just make sure you're staying principle driven. Now let me go over these key highlights I found from the book. Took some pictures of them. All right, highlight number one is the real success is success with self. It's not in having things, but in having mastery, having victory over self. That was a key highlight to me. Just being just a master, applying all knowledge, applying a lot of knowledge you gained over time, and applying that in one certain field. That is true success because it shows you're principle driven. It shows you're a disciplined person. It shows that you worked and took the time to improve on yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually to be able to become a master in this field. Another highlight is paying attention to the development of self is in the greater perspective of improving one's ability to serve, to produce, to contribute in meaningful ways gives context for a dramatic increase in the four life support factors. What this means is that when you pay attention in development and how you can just not improve, like when you focus on improving spiritually, mentally, and physically, and not just improving it for yourself, but improving it to benefit others, like in the future with your life focus or your life task, and just doing those things while improving yourself to, in the end, make a greater world for other people. That's all you can do, and it makes a dramatic increase in the four life support factors. Read the book for the four life support factors: spiritually, emotionally, physically. You know what I'm saying? Everyone knows. By centering our lives on correct principles, we create a solid foundation for development of the four life support factors. You cannot improve. You cannot truly make great strides improving physically, mentally, spiritually, and socially, emotionally without living a principle-centered life. If you are money driven and focus on just making money, you won't be able to improve physically, emotionally, and spiritually because your mindset is not in the right place. Your mindset is created on focus. Your mindset is focused on materialistic tasks and making more money when it should be improving yourself all the time. Another highlight is the personal power that comes from a principle-centered living is the power of a self-aware, knowledgeable, proactive individual, unrestricted by attitudes, behaviors, and actions of others, or by many other circumstances and environmental influences that limit other people. When you live a principle-centered life, you do things for yourself. You don't let other outside influences affect how you live. And this is something I'm still having problems with. I let outside influences affect how I live. So to truly living how I want to live and living on the principles that I pride myself on. Another highlight is as a principle-centered person, you try to stand apart from the emotion of the situation and from others that will act on you and evaluate the options. Looking at the balance whole, the work's needs, the family needs, other needs that may be involved, and the possible implications of the various alternative decisions. You try to come up with the best solution, taking all factors into consideration. Like when you make solutions and you give solutions for things, you don't give out solutions. This also ties it to the win-win. Like think win-win. You don't give solutions that only benefit you. You give solutions that benefit everyone and have equitable gain for everyone. And last how I'll be going over is, as a principle-centered person, you see things differently. And because you see things differently, you think differently. You act differently. Because you have a high degree of security, guidance, wisdom, and power that flows from a solid, unchanging core, you have a foundation of a highly proactive and highly effective life. Yeah, man, that kind of speaks for itself. Like, once you live on a principle-centered life, you just move differently than other people. Because other people are doing things for the they're doing things for the benefit of others or just true benefit of themselves. But you're doing things for the benefit of everyone, and focusing while also focusing on things that you want to do for your core, your life task. To conclude this video, man, I recommend this reading so you know how to base your core principles of living on. How to live a principle-centered life. I'll change my approach on how I communicate with others and how I communicate with myself due to now living a principle-based lifestyle and staying true to myself and not letting money be my main motivation for all jobs and choices that I make. So if you're looking for a guide that not only helps you become more effective at work, but also transform how you approach life in general, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is definitely worth the read. It's not a quick fix, but rather a long term blueprint for living with purpose and integrity. Thank you for watching.